Hello, this is part 2 of my Romance of the Three Kingdoms 14 Veteran Difficulty Guide, playing as Cao Cao, starting in the 194 scenario. To recap, in part 1, starting off in Chenliu, we expanded out into Luoyang, Wan and Xuchang. Most of the episode was spent slowly building up those cities while defending them from attacks from Yuanshu, Liuzhu and Lubu. At the end of the episode, we took out Lubu in Puyang, taking the city and most of his officers for ourselves. Now, playing as Cao Cao, this is where you can really snowball in how quickly you expand. We now have 4 self-sufficient cities, soon to be 5, that are capable of pumping out troops. Yuan Shao, who's actually struggling against Gongsun San unusually, is still our ally, having renewed the alliance last episode. He may not last more than 2 years looking at how he's doing, but for now he is a very comfortable buffer state between the north and ourselves. In terms of where we need to expand to now, we have Liu Bei to our east, Yuanshu to our south, and Lijue to our west. There's also Jianglu southwest of us and Liu Biao south of us. However, they are relatively passive factions and can be ignored until we finish off expanding out and taking out the officers that we need in the south, in the north, west and in the east, primarily Liu Bei and Lijue. In the first episode I showed how you could really wipe the floor with even a powerful force using the right combination of officers with Cao Cao and his confidants Xiaopei Yuan, Cao Ren, Xiahou Dun and Xiao Hong. I am going to try something a little bit different in this episode to show how you can play if you aren't using the best of the best that's available to you, which will be relevant if you decide to play alternative factions. We have enough troops, just about, I think, to pursue expansion in multiple directions, so we will see how this goes. And I am going to, well, first of all, I am going to finish moving our officers into Puyang. I am going to set up expansion. I also want to point out, based on the gold that is now available to us spread out through our various cities, development is now no longer going to be a concern. We do not have to worry about the commerce and agricultural level of our territories, as resources are now going to be plentiful, and the only resource that will matter to us now will be troops and officers available. One thing that was overlooked last episode, because we executed Lubu, some of his more loyal officers haven't taken too kindly to that, looking at you, Chang Miao, and are likely going to defect, even to the best of our rewarding efforts. Jianglu is going to continue to donate gold and supplies to us. I am going to milk that for all it's worth. While we could take Hanchong for ourselves quite early on, there's really no benefit to doing so. Jianglu doesn't have any particular good officers, and there we are, there is the first betrayal. Yanxi, one of Lubu's wives, having executed Lubu, kind of makes sense. And Chang Miao, all of one turn, we enjoyed your company. And here we are, Kong Rong is also going to be, like Jianglu, throwing money and supplies at our doorstep, trying to befriend us. I see no reason to stop him from doing so. Again, his officer pool is limited, being very generous. Ooh, oh dear. And there's no tremendous benefit to hiring him over letting him be effectively our vessel. Let me just fix that up for you. This is one of the many useful items you can find in Puyang. There is also a +5 intelligence item to be found here, much like there was in Chenliu if you get lucky. A very, very, very useful item to be found in Xuchang if you are lucky enough to find it and playing with difficulty of historical lifespans on. So you give this to any of your non-long lasting officers. For example, if you manage to hire Lu Bu, perhaps not playing as Cao Cao, finding this in Xuchang is essential. Now, having moved things around a little bit, transporting quite a few troops to Luoyang, I am going to try something a little different than that was attempted previously. So we saw Cao Cao and our top tier officers deploy together and take a city. I am going to give the strategists a go. As you can see, with their 62 leadership, 73 leadership, 70 leadership, nothing overwhelmingly special. However, we are going to donate some of our items ever so kindly. Just to give them a little bit of a bonus. And having done that, I'm also sending along Zhu Chu with them to act as a bodyguard, quite literally, just in case it doesn't work out as well as I was hoping. Let me just promote Gorgia to the highest rank. Here we are. So, in front of Hangu Gate, there are quite notably 2 spaces. So we have one for a fish, one for a tower, and one for a goose. That should work out quite well. So the way I'm going to operate this, well, first of all I'm going to deploy everyone out as close as I can to the city, and then I will skip a turn and show you where we are at. In between turns, managed to find this +5 intelligence item. Again, very useful if you have an intelligence officer who's around sort of 93, 94 intelligence, and you can just about bump him up to the threshold of 100. Our trade that was established in turn 1 has just returned, giving a very nice +10 leadership item. That also gives you the retreat ability, meaning you are never going to get captured in a duel. Kong Rong has asked for an alliance. That is one potential front taken care of, and will allow us to more or less advance eastward with no concern at all. I am going to give Cao Hong the War Cry Tomb for a combination of joint tactics that chains off of Cao Cao, Xiaohu Dun, Xiaohu Yun, Cao Ren. So here I am approaching the gate. I've switched over the manual tactic to Guojia to disable the assault on my troops. Shan Yu is feeling like he is blocked from the gate and cannot position into the appropriate place, which unfortunately does occasionally happen. However, we will resolve that by giving him a nudge in the right direction. Go there, go there. And in the new year, Luoyang. And to our east, I have sent the standard attack force to take out Xiapi. That more or less will handle itself unless something terribly goes wrong. We will see. So the AI isn't going to put up much of an effort to defend the gate, so this should fall before the end of this turn. There we go. And what we will do,
您找我吗？请交给我。
the exact same thing as before.
交给我吧。您找我吗？我明白了。
出征。
And with Shen Yu back from his trade mission, I'm going to send him over to Luoyang to follow up the assault.
即刻出发。
Zhang Liao, still mad that I killed Lu Bu, is not going to join me, very much unlike the novel. I guess Guan Yu being a part of the faction was a very important part of it. Li Chue has actually placed traps in between the two gates, which is very inconvenient. And there goes Zhang Liao. Wasn't destined to be this time around, unfortunately. But we have plenty of good officers, and I doubt we'll even notice that he isn't there.
交给我吧。
请下令吧。我明白了，遵命。尽息一切。
有什么问题吗？是。请交给我吧。怎么了？是。
We're just getting ready for the assault on Xiaopei. Looks like Liu Bei, much like Lu Bu, is just going to let me walk up and take his city, but not before Chang Lu asks to form an alliance. And at 30,000 supplies? Absolutely, why not?
我有事禀告。有事吗？
不是。
啊。
And over here.
有什么问题吗？我知道了。
遵命。好的，我在。好的。
你找我吗？好的。
Oh, nearly forgot. In fact, let's just bring over some troops to reinforce.
那就出发吧。
And as part of this assault, I am going to send over Li Yan and Li Dian with 7,000 troops each. That should be fine. Goose and fish formation should do the job. Still nothing to see here. And nothing. So, Sang Shi has deployed, but is he going for the gate, or is he taking the bait and going for Li Yan and Li Dian? Either way is absolutely fine by myself. The less troops in the city, the easier the city will be to knock down. Let's wait and see. Everyone has taken the gate out of action, so there stands Zhang Zhe, completely useless, unable to do anything. So of course, first course of action is to sally out, immediately attack. There we are. Zhang Yu very helpfully has the tactful trait which lowers assault further should Zhang Shi manage to escape out of the trap. He is being reinforced by 4 cores, which is giving him very strong stats even if he is isolated and out of supply. Just to make sure nothing funny is going on over here. No, we are just watching the city melt. There we go. Good old Zhang Miao. In fact, this chap did betray Cao Cao in the novel, I believe. There we are. He's a close friend of Cao Cao from Cao Cao's younger days, and betrayed Cao Cao alongside Changan. Possibly why he's mad at me. Not only did I kill Lu Bu, but I killed Changan too. And ooh, yeah, problem solved. Filled with regret, I bet. Meanwhile, this is going as well as it can. So let's send Shen Yu along. You can go back inside. And they can go inside. There we are. In the background I've been letting Sunset have his events, just for some flavour. Sadly, these events have made playing as Sunset in this scenario go from one of the more enjoyable scenarios to an absolute walk in the park where the game practically plays itself. As you can see here, Sunset has not had to do anything but allow me to click buttons for him. Looking at the map, as Yuan Shu is a little busy to the south, and I am more or less fully supplied at Xiapi, and have recently been promoted, which is very helpful. Lieutenant Colonel gives me a second manual tactic to use. I cannot see why I wouldn't want to continue on, which is exactly what I'm going to do. So if I give you all 4,000 each, or if I give you all 5,000 each, and then Bianchi, yeah, absolutely no problem whatsoever. There we go. Now, there is a chance I could move on, attack the city and get my face absolutely melted off. However, that is a chance I think I am going to take. So, and I am notably running very short on 3 officers. I have 5 at the moment across all of my cities. So, taking Liu Bei and his 22 officers will go, well, they're not all going to join me, but it will go a long way to filling the gaps. And now Shirsi also wants to throw friendship at me. I absolutely cannot make any shortage of friends this game, yeah, which certainly doesn't help, and it most definitely means you are never going to have any gold problems, even if you were chucking tens of thousands of gold in trades and mediation agreements. So this is going to be a bit risky, but why the hell not?
么了？好吧，
请下令啊，
Let's see if the AI recognizes how weak we are.
请交给我。
怎么了？
I'm hoping the answer to that, of course, is they don't. If they don't deploy, there's a very, very good chance I can stun lock the city with disorder. Ooh, what's going on there? Talking about stun locking the city, chain tactic, chunk of damage and disorder. So Gong Sun Zan yet again, instead of going for Ping Yuan, nice easy pickings, he is stretching his supply lines and going for Yi, allowing Yuan Shao to completely clean house. It might be too early to say Yuan Shao has lost this one, but certainly neither of them are going to win it. Another turn going by, let's see what's happening in Changan. The answer is nothing at all by all accounts. There we are. No problems whatsoever for the strategist buddies. Nobody quite liked that. Ooh. Well. None of them are going to join me, but we can keep them in prison for a little while.
各地发来了报告。
And that, more or less, is Lijue wiped out. Moving the capital to Xuchang. But of course, let's get everyone inside.
知道了。
Fill the gaps that were left empty. Oh, not that out's gonna last.
那就行动吧。交给我吧。请交给我吧。
Yeah, so they're getting into formation very, very slowly across the swamps, but they're doing the best that they can.
在这里
Move everyone up ever so slightly.
静息一切。什么事？好吧。合适。爸。好吧。
有什么问题吗？我明白了。
Yuan Shao wants his alliance back. Why not? We can go south instead. As you can see, Changan is at a very healthy 43,000 troops. It isn't very healthy is the lack of officers, however. Development's not an issue at all, but if public order gets low, that can be very, very annoying.
请交给我吧。
All looking good here. So I'm going to summon all spare officers now. Oh, all two of them, that is. Over to Changan. Is anyone wanting to join me? No. However, 4,000 troops, 6,000 troops, let's not waste any time. Actually, why even bother with siege weapons this time around? I think we'll do good enough without. Okay, one siege weapon. Only because Shenyu isn't particularly useful at anything else. And with 8,000 troops left in Changan, even if Marteng decides he wants some of the action, I should be okay. And I'll move over 6,000 as a contingency. As we enter the mid-game, for a lack of a better phrase, this is where supply chains become as important as unit management. Keeping the troops in the right places allows you to keep on snowballing. Not that you're going to have much of a problem with that as Cao Cao. So I'll skip back when there is some action going on. This isn't going to end as well as he's probably planning it for it to do. However, he is doing a reasonable amount of damage. It's very annoying. Ah, disorder back by return. There we are. I think I'm going to send him back in for a refill. That's terribly embarrassing. Never get lazy because you can lose a unit just because you're highlighting everyone and clicking in a certain direction. And this is where we are in Xiapi. You can probably guess, based on previous footage, how this is going to end. As expected, nothing particularly going on in Xiapi. Liu Bei is just going to sit in his castle, refuse to deploy Guan Yu and Zhang Fei, and let the city fall, which is very disappointing. But all is going reasonably well here, however. Nothing going on here. The small city of Xiapi is melting underneath the weight of my gigantic horse. And that's about it, really. On to the next turn. Nothing to see but to wait for the city to fall. There we are. So Guan Yu, Zhang Fei would not join, neither would Liu Bei. Not terribly surprising, but having learnt the lesson from executing Lu Bu, I think I'll let them stay in prison for a little bit. And you know, why don't we just retreat back? Start the tedious process of hiring everyone. Fortunately, Guan Yu is going to join, and he is going to be, as always, a fantastic addition to the army. Almost overkill, in fact. There we are, one down. And in a few turns, nope. Got the wife, got the bandit, and we have Guan Yu. Mission accomplished. Even though Zhang Fei hates Cao Cao and would not join you under normal circumstances, because you have his sworn brother Liu Bei, you can get Zhang Fei and he'll actually remain relatively loyal, which is almost unheard of. Lu Bu's wife still not particularly keen on us. And neither is this chap Chen Dao.
出发！
Sometimes you might find incidents where you're attacking a city and the AI thinks they'll try to nab it before you do. Not the end of the world. I'll let Ma Chao burn his troops on taking Handing, and if he does manage to take it, I'll just clean up after him. It's going to be a bit of a close one, and...
有使者到访。
Oh, hello Xiapi, thank you for the gift. And... ooh...
请您过目。
Well, this is going to be close.
感激
We skip one more turn. And we got it. So much like when we took out Liu Bei, we are going to spend a couple of turns hiring all of the spare officers before moving on to finish up Ma Teng.
连续射击，一边待着去。冲啊！各地发来了报告。好吧。